So we have all these like islands of shrubs throughout our property. So we got this weed whip and we put this metal blade on it. It's called a chisel blade. And with that blade, you can cut through pretty much anything. I've used this to cut through so much stuff, and it's so much easier than, like, a lot of people use those big brush hog machines. And if you have an entire field or something to clear, those things are awesome. But if you just have little areas like this, where, I mean, that's like probably a 10 by 10, 10 by 12 area to clear, the brush hog isn't necessary, and those things are kind of hard for someone like me that's smaller to use anyway. This weed whip is really easy. It's called a chisel blade. It was like 25 bucks for the blade, but they say it's similar to a chainsaw blade in the sense that you can just file it and you can sharpen it back up once it's dull. So you can keep reusing the same blade. It's still really sharp. I've cleaned through or cleared through a lot of stuff with this thing. And I'm going to show you just how easy it is to clear this area. And you can see how fast you can get it done just with this, weed whip with the metal blade on it. So you can see, let me get these off. So you can see that didn't take that long to do that. And you can see it's all cleared down now. I'm going to have to pick it all up. But that didn't take that long to clear out of that whole area. Now I just got to pick the stuff up and get it out of here. But it's really easy to use, and when I was going through areas where there was a bunch of small skinny stuff, I could just sweep side by side and just like take them out. And when I got to stuff that was a little thicker, then I just went slower and more deliberately cut just through the trunk of the weed or tree, whatever it is. And we've used this to cut down, like trees that are like this big around. We've cut trees down like that, where you go nice and slow and just kind of go around the edge and the thing will tip over. If it's not a huge tree, you're not going to cut something big down with it. You could also use it to reach up and trim dead branches off of trees. That gets a little bit out of the reach where you could reach from the ground. But this is one of the best things we got. The brush hog, like I said earlier, it works good if you have a huge field or something to clear. But if you could just have a bunch of little areas like this where you just need to take out little islands of shrubs, or you want to just take out a couple small trees, this metal blade is awesome. And like I said, you can use it like a chainsaw blade. You can keep reusing it. You sharpen it up and you keep reusing it. But unlike a chainsaw blade, you don't have to worry about if it gets in the dirt. Like a chainsaw blade, you got to keep it out of the dirt. This, you don't have to keep it out of the dirt. You can cut this stuff right down to the ground. You could even dig around it a little bit and cut it below the ground if you needed to get something a little bigger out. I found this to be very helpful in clearing a lot of this stuff because I want to get rid of some of these shrub piles, kind of to keep like the wood tick population down and just to kind of clean up some of these areas and make them look a little nicer. So I'm going to go through it. I'll clear this up, but I highly recommend this. You just replace the spool on your weed whip. I don't think all weed whips can do it. This is a steel, and it was, I don't remember how much it cost. It wasn't that expensive. But the metal blade just attaches right on there. It just screws right on. You unscrew the weed whip part attachment, and we just kind of toss the weed whip thing because out here we're not going to be trying to make like the edge of something look pretty. We're going to be out here like cutting stuff down with it, so we're just leaving the metal blade on it. But once it dulls down, and I've been using it for least a couple months on a regular basis going through and clearing this kind of stuff out, and it's still really sharp. And it would cut down, like I said, a tree. You could cut one down, a tree of, you know, with a decent sized radius, a small one, but with a decent size circumference, you could really take that down with just this. You wouldn't even need much more. Stuff that I usually would use the Sawzall or you'd need a chainsaw for, you can take down with this. That's if they're on the smaller size. So I highly recommend it. Get the Chisel Blade for your weed whip and make your yard work, getting rid of shrubs, a lot easier. If you like this kind of stuff, hit that like button, consider subscribing, and I'll catch you on the next one.